The Dino Dookie is pretty thick over there in the mainstream trades, and there's a reason for that. They wanted this Afterbirth movie to do well, and they're trying to portray it as doing well, even as it's basically a 5 or 6 day weekend, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And they're touting a performance that I just don't think they have any business doing. This particular movie is opening less than Jurassic World Dominion, which only had 3 days to make 189 million. That's how bad this movie is. It's not quite getting the numbers that you're seeing, and it never should have been promoted in this manner. It's not a good movie, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but I have a feeling that this may halt the Jurassic World franchise for a few, or at least bring some better people in to make it. And I guess that's not up to Universal. I guess it's up to the production group, but I don't know if I've ever want to have Kathleen Kennedy anywhere near any of my movies. But let's jump into the actual numbers of it all and get down to the bottom of it. Here we go.
That is one big pile of
Look, when I reviewed this movie, I told you it was dog duty. I did that 10 days before it even came out. And I have to tell you, I'm not wrong. Most everybody who sees this is really disappointed with it. And there are a few people in my own audience that say they had a good time. And that's fine. I won't yuck your yum, but what I will do is point out the reality that CinemaScore thinks this thing sucks, and so does the box office. Let's jump into the article from our friends over at Cosmic Book News and take a look at Jurassic World Rebirth going extinct with an $80 million opening. Yeah, I know. That's not what you've been hearing. In fact, you've been hearing a different tale of, 125 million domestic open and things like that. You even heard bigger numbers than that, over 130 million. The problem is this just isn't happening. And with a B CinemaScore, this better get amazing word of mouth, or it will be going to streaming really soon. So lining right up with estimates, Jurassic World Rebirth is on track for a franchise low opening, as its 3-day is currently at $80 million. The CinemaScore also becomes known, and it's not good with a B. Yeah, B's not good. B means you are a failure, which is usually a score associated with low-budget horror movies. It's also the second lowest cinema score of the entire franchise and only beat Jurassic Park 3's B-. That's not good. And I'd probably say if people were to see those two films side by side now, they would probably rate Jurassic Park 3 much higher. And of course, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't help when you're looking at a 51% critics score, which is very, very low, and a 73% from the audience itself. Now, I will tell you this much. It's pretty easy to monkey with the scores if you are over on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's kind of done on the regular. It's not a very reliable system, and it's why I always talk about critic lists when we get to this particular part of the video, but at least you'll know that other fans are legitimately reviewing the movie with detailed information rather than just a, popcorn meter score. Worse yet, if you do look at Rotten Tomatoes, you will find that that's a higher score than it should be, but it's kind of in the middle of what's going on over there. It's 73% is lower than Dominion, and the critics score is, pretty rotten. Of course, Matt's score is right in line with mine. He didn't appreciate this movie very much at all, and he felt it was just a bunch of dumb things strung together that keep happening over and over again, with an ending that's flat, just like the entire movie, and I couldn't be more in line with him if I tried. Regarding the Jurassic World Rebirth 5-day holiday weekend, which is technically 6, though the 3-day 80 million lands exactly where estimated, sites like Deadline, again, the mainstream to the, the disaster, not the rescue, offering a 5-day will be higher than 133.5 million, while they estimated 120 to 130 million before that. Well, that's a number that I don't know if it's going to make. And even if it does, it's still downright disappointing. And once again, that 133.5 million still isn't a good number when you realize Jurassic World Dominion opened to 145 million in 3 days back in 2022. What does that tell us? That this is going to be a slow performing movie, and a lot of people are getting tired of the girl boss trope, which is what this whole thing is about. I mean, even Fallen Kingdom, which came before the 2022 film Dominion. It opened to 148 million over 3 days. That's pretty crazy. If you look at the adjustment for inflation, it's 189 million, nearly 200 million domestic. That's a 3-day opening that I think this film would be hoping for, but no dice. As you go through all the numbers, you just finally realize that after Jurassic World in 2015 at 208 million in 3 days, that would be sitting at 283 million in today's dollars, and the studio and Hollywood and the exhibitors would all be jumping for joy at those kind of numbers. And yet, those things aren't even in sight. And there is one benefit for shooting in IMAX for IMAX. You get to hang on to the screens for a couple of weeks, and that's exactly what is happening with F1. Jurassic World Rebirth doesn't have access to those super large PLF screens, at least not right now, and they really kind of needed them. At a $225 million budget, Jurassic World needs to make at least $675 million just to break even, and I think that that's accounting for a substantial marketing budget, which we actually know. And of course, Matt kind of sums it up here, saying, so far the summer box office is starting off pretty weak. I said it was. I said it will continue, and I'm probably right. You got James Gunn's Superman coming up here soon, and the likelihood of Fantastic Four flopping is quite high, especially when compared to things like Captain Four and Thunderbolts, and people's disinterest with anything that Marvel seems to be doing right now. And normally I sit here and I sing the praises of websites like The Numbers, because they actually provide the numbers and in a timely fashion, so we get some kind of idea of what the box office looks like for big weekends like this one. Sadly, the numbers don't look great just for Wednesday, but they also look artificial, as reporting a $30 million earning for just one day is a little bit disingenuous, despite the screen starting to show this film at midnight on Wednesday. Although, I don't know if this accounts for the numbers, and I'm pretty sure it does, the screenings that were held nationwide 10 days previous to a select few people who knew where to look and go get it. And while this one-day performance will be figured into what will happen by the end of the weekend, I am starting to feel like, because of the word of mouth that's continually going out there, this film may not make the projections that we just kind of talked about. And let's be honest, we have a lot of people that are pretty tired of the productions that are being put to screen by all the studios these days, because it's so inherently political. There's not a moment of escape, and when there is, we have visual representations of the message everywhere inside of them. So if you think you're not going to see the woke messaging in films in the future, it's already baked in. The question is, when will it be pulled out? And I have a feeling that that's going to be later rather than sooner. And that's really disappointing. Of course, it could be worse. This film could be like Elio, which lost absolutely any storytelling mechanism whatsoever when they pulled all of the LGBTQ plus messaging from it. And unlike other films who were marketed improperly, like Ballerina, this one has marketing that's spot on, warning you that this is going to be an extremely diverse girl boss film with no redeeming value whatsoever. And aside from the 3 big dinosaur encounters and the appearance of the Rancor from Return of the Jedi, there's honestly not many dinosaurs to get excited about, unless you're talking about the little girl's backpack dinosaur, which reminds me somehow of Grogu. Lucasfilm production, backpack dinosaur, backpack Yoda. That tracks. Anyway, it looks like we're entering into a weekend, and we'll be finishing one fairly soon, that basically becomes what I projected. Middling film on a massive budget that's going to have trouble breaking even with the dinosaur lovers. And that's kind of all I have to say about this. I normally would say I told you so, but I don't think I even need to bother. If you had a different experience at this movie and you saw it and you enjoyed it, let me know those thoughts down in the comments section below. Tell me why. I'm sure you can find a reason. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm going to see next, I rightfully don't know. Whatever I have opportunity to. And don't you worry, I'll be reviewing it for you as well. As always, be sure to take care of yourself take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not at Jurassic World.